Hello everybody, this is Karu Show here, and whenever I last left off, Bakugo, Deku, Kirishima, and Jiro, they were all headed to the gym. Jiro was saying that she guess she won't really go with them today, but essentially she can come with them tomorrow, because she wasn't really looking to head to the gym today. So she'll just catch them later, as she actually starts walking in a different direction. Deku just says that, well, alright, at least meet us at the beach tomorrow, as she would just give a thumbs up as she's walking away. Deku actually turns to Bakugo, saying, alright, let's go, and Bakugo is actually somewhat teasing Deku, saying, so is that Hottie your girlfriend? And Deku would just say, no, she's not. In fact, he just met her today. As he actually looks down at the CD, saying that he was out shopping and he actually met her. And Bakugo would just say, yeah, sure, as they'd be walking into the gym. This gym is actually the gym Kirishima, Bakugo, and Deku have actually heard about, where they actually have the ring where you can fight people and actually use your quirks if you want to, along with the fact that there are heavier weights there, and this is basically a strength gym. So it's for people with strength quirks, especially. They... Okay, that's not working. Okay, that was a massive... I don't know what just happened there. Alrighty, I got that figured out. Now, as soon as they walked into the gym, they were immediately told what their quirks were, asked what their quirks were, and what they're doing here. They would just say that their quirks are this, and Deku immediately goes on stating that they were actually here to use the ring, because him and his brother were looking to fight each other. Now the man immediately says that that's good to at least have that rivalry, if not brotherly love, but they need to do something else first, as they are told that they need to pass a strength test. Bakugo and Deku would do so, Bakugo being able to pump iron, Deku being able to at least outpace everyone in speed. Him being able to outpace everyone in speed kind of makes them mad, because this is supposed to be a strength gym, but Deku's just asking if they can do speed tests. Now, as soon as that happens, they are told that Bakugo can stay, but Deku has to leave. Deku would say he doesn't care, as he immediately just reveals he's wearing weighted clothing. As he drops it all off, as soon as it hits the ground, people are surprised, as a guy goes to pick it up, and he actually has a bit of trouble, saying that this feels at least like 120, if not 130. So the boy can stay, especially because he's able to outpace them even wearing this stuff. So you have a strength quirks boy? No, an explosion. Ah, so you're a powerhouse. Well then, you should stay. At least let's see them box each other. Now, they would both walk into the ring, and Deku and Bakugo are both given a pair of gloves. They immediately put them on as they see Deku, he's essentially like Bon, being very lean, and Bakugo, I want to say, is a bit more muscular. So, I don't exactly know a good, accurate way to put Bakugo, but he's at least stronger than Kane and Bakugo around the sports festival. So, after this, Deku, he's actually saying that this should be fun because he's always wanted to beat the shit out of him. Bakugo saying same here, but you got it the wrong way. In fact, he's winning. As these two immediately rush towards each other, people actually would watch as these two thoroughly, and I mean thoroughly, beat the absolute shit out of each other. They're watching as it gets to the point where, let's say 30 minutes has passed and these two are still punching at each other and going on with this. Deku actually using his maneuverability and speed to somewhat dodge Bakugo. Bakugo uses his basic brawler style to basically outpace Deku in durability, meaning he can actually take more punches than Deku. Now, while they are doing this, let's say Jiro, she was actually somewhat annoyed that she basically asked for training and then immediately just ditched them. So she actually changed and came back to the gym. Thinking, oh, this must be the right one, she would walk in saying she was here and she's actually looking for these guys. She would immediately be let through and watch as these two are fighting each other in the ring. At this point, it got to the point where they were told that if they do not replace the wraps in their gloves, they can actually hurt their fingers. So they actually took a break, wrapped their hands, if not they had their hands already wrapped, so that they wouldn't break a finger, and they were let back into the ring, saying they either use the gloves or they don't. As you just see Deku and Bakugo both punching and punching away, as they just have bloody wraps on at this point. Now, everyone is still in shock, saying that they've been at this for almost an hour. Kirishima just saying that the way he sees this going, they are going to try and outpace one another before the other falls. So, this isn't anything new, really. People are asking, so they've been like this for how long? Well, they've been like this since as long as I've known them. So about like a year and a half, I believe. Oh, jeez. Jiro immediately looks at the ring, just seeing Deku uppercutting Bakugo, and Bakugo just coming down with a swift right arm. Deku actually getting hit in the face and actually bringing his back of his leg up, trying to smash Bakugo down in the collarbone. These two are essentially not holding back without using their quirks, and actually proving that they essentially belong here. As this happens, Deku is at the point where he feels like he might have broken his hand. Bakugo is at the point where he thinks he cracked a few ribs. Now, these two immediately rush at each other and actually go to grab each other. As soon as this happens, they both cock their heads back, seeing this is the only option, smashing their heads into each other, and they are both about to knock themselves out. But while they're falling, Deku he sees Jiro, and he actually cracks a smile between the blood in his teeth, hitting the ground, passing out, along with Bakugo. An hour would come by, and they would both reawaken. That sounds like an anime term, reawaken. They would wake up. I'm sorry. As soon as that happens, people are actually congratulating them and saying that they did very well. But, especially you, kid, as they would point to Deku, he surprised them the most, as he essentially hit the ground. We think that he hit the ground after you, but it's hard to tell. It was hypnotic to watch. As people go on stating that was one of the best fights they've ever seen, they are essentially given free roam over the gym, being told that they can come here anytime to actually train. Now then, ow. They would be training like this for the next couple of days, and Deku would actually take Jiro to the beach the next day. Deku is telling her that this is essentially not going to be very easy. In fact, he wants you to have some of these, as he would give her weights. She's asking what she's supposed to do with them, and right now Deku would just give her the vest with 20 pounds in it, saying this is essentially going to help you a lot. Your quirk relies on sound, so you need to essentially use it for attacks or moving faster. It's one thing I can see your quirk actually being very useful with. As he says, he wants her to essentially try to keep up with him. And if she needs to, try to use her quirk. They will be doing this for the next couple months. Jiro getting heavier and heavier equipment, while Deku and Bakugo and Kirishima are working out at the gym. Deku is essentially taking on heavier and heavier weights that he can get from that gym, seeing as he would eventually reach a limit with the weights that gym was able to provide and license. Because I want to say at a certain point, it's considered dangerous to just hand these out, if not have to sell them. Because they could be held liable if, hey, We gave you a 300-pound vest and you fell and you broke a couple of your ribs in your spine because you basically had 150 topple onto your back. So you can't sue us. But let's say that this place is actually able to give Deku at least 300 pounds of weight. And Deku split it up between him and Jiro. Himself taking on 200 pounds and him giving her 100. She would eventually have all this weight on and training her quirk. All Might would actually be by the beach one day as Deku is actually running and Jiro is actually somewhat keeping up behind him. Deku would eventually stop, waiting for her, saying that they'll take a break here, and All Might would actually walk up to Deku, saying that he's that young boy from a couple months ago during the villain attack, correct? Deku would say, yeah, who is he? All Might would immediately buff up, revealing, hey, I'm the #1 hero. And this would actually shock Deku and Jiro, as they're even more confused. All Might would go on saying that he was injured quite a bit of time ago, and that he essentially needs to find a successor, because his time as a hero might be coming to an end soon, and he at least wants to make sure the world has another All Might. If not, someone who can protect them. He would offer Deku one for all, and Deku would just say, no. Now then, I believe where I left off was Deku would say no. All Might's confused, asking what he means. Deku would say that his quirk is hard enough to control anyways, and just adding on another one would actually probably make me unstoppable. Because basically my quirk allows me to touch everything with 5 fingers. There's so many things in this town, if not this entire city, I've touched, that I'm not even sure I could probably make it go off. If I wanted to, one day I could probably awaken the ability to destroy this place, and not even know it. That's what scares me about my own power. All Might would immediately understand, as he thinks that this boy's got a point. So he would just say that that's fine, but as he goes on saying, he at least needs to keep this a secret. He knows another candidate for his quirk then. As he jumps off and would actually find Mirio. While that's going on, Jiro actually asks Deku if he's okay. Deku would just say that he'll be fine, but it's just, I don't want to outdo my brother. Especially not with someone else's power. Just taking that would just feel wrong. Then Jiro would just say she kind of doesn't understand because she doesn't have any siblings, but she hopes to understand him. If not, just know that it'll be cool. As she immediately just takes off running, saying, well, at least I'll try not to leave you in the dust, as Deku chases after her. Now, let us cut to about, let's see, I almost said the sports festival, the entrance exam. Everyone is talking. These four would walk in. As soon as that happens, Bakugo is walking with Deku, and he would see a brown-haired girl. He actually is walking past her, but as soon as she essentially takes a step, she somewhat trips. Bakugo would actually grab her, saying that she needs to watch her step and be a little more careful, as he just says, now, I hope to see you in UA, as they walk away. Now, while that's going on, inside the building, they are essentially split up, because I don't believe Bakugo and Kirishima, or even Jiro, went all to the same school. Now then. They are essentially sitting next to each other, and Bakugo and Deku are thinking if they're in the same place, they at least need to be a tag team. If not, they need to actually work together. They're whispering about this, and this is whenever Ito would actually stand up saying that those two are disrupting this entire place. Doing all this and doing all that, they would both immediately stand up, yelling at Kirishima. Ida to go fuck himself, saying that he needs to just leave them alone. Because we're talking about what we're going to do when we get into the physical portion. Having a strategy is a good thing, as you just interrupted this entire place and you're being the disrespectful asshole. Ida just somewhat slumps down into his chair, just muttering to himself, how am I being disrespectful? Now, I'm fairly certain that man did not have any friends before UA. Now, as this is going on, they are essentially Bakugo placed third, I believe. So let's put Deku and Bakugo around third place, if not tying for it with the same score. And Jiro at her original part in canon. Deku actually not somewhat. Let's skip over to the physical portion. Deku and Bakugo are actually talking. As they are walking over, Bakugo finds that he's actually going to be in a different portion, or if not a different part of the test. Now, this is whenever Deku would actually walk over to his area, and he's actually in the same one as Jiro, running over to her and actually able to say hi. Now, while that's going on, Deku is actually looking around, confused, asking her if they are essentially the only ones here. Jiro says that she's pretty sure Bakugo is in a different place, and so is Kirishima. But this seems like a good time as any, as Deku immediately takes off his shirt and starts removing his weighted clothing. People around him are actually watching this, and they would actually see Deku do this, thinking he might have a speed quirk. It's pretty smart to do weight training then. Oh well. Now, this is whenever a person actually walks up to Deku saying, what are those, or what is he doing? And this is whenever Deku would just say, he's getting ready for the test, as this guy says, he seems to be pretty tough, so he'll at least let it pass. As this is Tetsu Tetsu from 1B. Ow. Deku and Bakugo. Deku and Jiro would immediately begin, and they are actually running through trying to figure out what to do. Deku is actually able to take down quite a few robots by using his remote detonation, which kind of freaks people out, as he's running at about 30 miles, if not 35, without his weights on. And he's actually just running around tapping onto robots, and they immediately explode. So that's also another cause for concern. Now then, they're thinking he's hitting them hard enough with enough force to just blow them up. But that's not the case. Jiro, on the other hand, is actually able to use her quirk to hover a little bit, but she also just uses it just for straight-on combat, plugging it into her arm and immediately just firing off as much sound as possible at robots, destroying them. Bakugo and Kirishima, on the other hand, are in the same territory, and these two are immediately just destroying as many robots as possible. With Deku actually waiting, he actually is able to see as the zero pointer arrives. Deku immediately starts looking around for Jiro, and he sees everyone else is running, so he begins doing so. While that's going on, Jiro actually sees the robot, and she actually gets tangled, if not stuck under some rubble. She immediately begins shouting for help. As Deku would hear this, he starts running in, thinking that this might be stupid, but he has to at least try. He runs up seeing Jiro stuck underneath the rubble, and actually tells her that he is going to blow up the rubble, but she tells him no, that's not going to work, as she just says that she might be able to essentially destroy it, but she just needs some time. Deku would say that they don't really have time, as He immediately taps on a small piece of the rubble, saying, "Don't explode," and it just essentially blows up into a smaller explosion. Deku is actually really happy about this, and he's able to move the rubble off of Jiro, as he immediately asks her if she can send him as high up into the air as possible. She would say sure, but it's not going to be easy, but he just needs to cover his ears. Deku would do so, and she tells him that he just needs to get a running start and jump up into the air. Deku would do so, covering his ears and getting blasted up higher by Jiro. Deku immediately, just as soon as he's able to, starts tapping and crawling as fast as he can over the robot, and he essentially reaches its head, where he climbs on top of it and just starts quick releasing. Now, as soon as he quick releases, the entire thing explodes as Deku's sitting on its head. Deku actually grabs onto the top of it as it just slums over onto the ground, hitting as if it was a giant walker. Now, while that's going on, people are actually looking around and they just see Deku essentially crawl off the thing and actually land on the ground, as he's just huffing and puffing and his nose begins bleeding. Jiro's asking Deku if he's okay, and he just says, "That was awesome. Now, I think I'll be fine. I just need some water." As they would wrap this up, Deku is actually told he got, not first place, because I believe Baku got first. Yeah, I think Baku got first place. He actually got, he tied with his brother, if not, he actually got rescue points, actually making him go above his brother. So he actually scored the highest. And with Jiro, she actually got some too, meaning she also scored quite high. She actually scored third. Yeah then, that is where I'm going to be leaving this one off, guys. And I do hope you enjoyed the video. I'm going to go make something to drink that's warm and has caffeine in it. And I plan on doing the quirk apprehension test and the combat exam in the next part. I hope you enjoyed.